Don't you, something was like, it's easy to know that happiness is our true nature because the one common denominator between me and the other 9 billion people on Earth. So don't you think that makes sense? That is actually your true nature because we all want the same thing, and that's actually what you are.
Yes, that is the good beginning when we say that from the not only the 8 or 9 billion people as a human being are seeking happiness, even the ant is seeking happiness. You touch, they get scared, they change the direction. Why they are changing the direction? To secure that life to be happy. But that is a good beginning by contemplation and reflection. Then the second step is to find that where the happiness is. Is the happiness located inside me? Then where it is located? Is it located in the body? We often experience the sensual pleasure eating the food or a sex or listening to a good the song that we like or a sensation of the touch or the food or the smell. So the journey of the Eastern wisdom is to inquire, and then we say that one is that I experience at the physical level. So where master says this is what the physical body is what is visible, what is seen, including the muscles and the nerves inside that we see from the microscope, plus five sense organs and the motor organs. Then the subtle body where all the experiences takes place. Where all the experiences takes place, it happens in the mind. All experiences takes place in the mind. I like you. It is not the body who is saying I like you. If the body is saying I like you, then I will never divorce. So it is the mind, it is happening in the mind based on the thought, in the feeling, in emotions, all are taking in the mind. Now, how the mind takes those experiences, we have to examine it. So, on examination, we find on one given day, pasta gives me happiness. On the second given day, the chicken gives me happiness. On the third day, so it means that very pleasing experiences are not present in those objects. It is present inside me. But then there is a catch. Today I like pasta, it gives me happiness. Tomorrow I like chicken, that gives me happiness. Day after I like something, that gives me happiness. Yes, in your case, you had such a big car. So then it stopped functioning because it was too old. So it stopped giving you happiness. So let us replace it. Now you bought a Bronco. So now that Bronco gives you the happiness. So it means the mind cleverly manipulated with me to declare what I like and what I dislike, and then it sends the waves to whatever I like, it gives me happiness. But what I like that gives me happiness is not the true happiness. It is not the true happiness. It is not. So it means if I dislike, does it give me happiness? No. If I dislike my honey, I want to get rid of it. But the same honey I liked 10 years ago. So it means the mind is playing trick with me. The mind is causing the delusion. I have to remove this delusion before I act on any object or event or anything else. At least the lion is happy because they just eat flesh and they don't have a choice. So they cannot recognize the very happiness. They are simply eating. Cows keeps on eating grass. They can never get bored. Tiger never gets bored. Oh, today let me become a vegan. Why? Because they don't have an intellect. They cannot make a choice. We can make a choice. Only the human being make a choice. And if we make the right choice, Eastern wisdom simply teaching us to make a right choice to reach to the real self. Only the Eastern wisdom. The other wisdom talks of the soul and the spirit and the out of the body experiences. We say that you are caught by the false side, you have to reach to the real.
Is everybody trying to find the real self, but not necessarily they don't know that they're trying to find that? Because if everybody's trying to be happy, then does that mean they're actually trying to find the real, but they just don't know how to find it?
Yes, they don't know how to find it, and what exactly, they don't even know what exactly is the peace and happiness. So there is a catch in it. That's a higher principle. One master says it is known to every human being, but it is not fully known. There is some vibe that, oh, happiness is there. So it is known, happiness oozes out from me, and then it goes to the past, I forget it. So it is known, but not fully known. And the same master says, if it is fully known, if it is fully known, if it is fully known, what will happen? There is no delusion. There is no desire for seeking anything in the world. Whatever we desire, it is for the physical survival, and I am happy. I'm repeating again. If it is known. Master says it is known. You are searching for happiness, it means you know happiness is there. But because it is not fully known means that I don't know whether it is located in the pasta or in the sex or in some other stimulation. I don't know. So I keep on searching. Second, now if it is fully known, all my desires for seeking happiness comes to an end. All my desires for seeking happiness has come to an end, then where is the suffering? There is no suffering, there is no pain, there is no fear, there is no death. Not at all. I'm of the nature of happiness and love. In that nature of happiness and love, I don't see there is even the death is there. I have transcended the death. So that is what Master says. That is what the modern people talk about it. What they say? Ecstasy. Ecstasy without ecstasy pill. So it is a bliss. Sorry, it is a bliss without sex. Because it is independent. Because it is all pervading. So we don't know it is all pervading. We don't know it is present here and now. So that don't know is ignorance, and that ignorance causes the delusion, and we are constantly deluded by the mind because of the ignorance, seeking something else, get frustrated, get scared, fear of the death, and the stress and the suffering continues. We have to sit every day, we have to do the practice, and one of the best method is, I told you, is the aware model. What is aware model? Aware acronym, each letter means something. You are a millennials, so that's why I thought better to create an acronym. So millennials like acronym, not the Sanskrit verses. The Sanskrit verse says Satasangatve Nisasangatvam. So it says Satsang. Satsang means listening and learning the principles of Eastern wisdom results into detachment, the first reason of the delusion, which causes the suffering. So you continue to contemplate and reflect nisasangatve nirmohatvam. So when you have experienced the detachment, that detachment brings the freedom from delusion. So when the delusion is gone, then what happens to the mind? Nirmohatve nischaltatvam. So freedom from the delusion brings natural steadiness of the mind. Naturally, your mind is naturally steady. And then what happens with that natural calmness and steadiness throughout the day, weeks, months and years? One day you recognize you are that real self inside. So Nishchal Tattve Jivana Mukti. So Jivan Mukti means awaken. Because of that natural state of the steadiness, you are awakened. So the same verse I converted into aware model. A means what? So when I understand the aware model, aware means the first A letter means acceptance. What to accept? I accept the stress in my life. I accept the fear. I accept the anxiety, even if it is not there. No, but I experience it. Oh, you may experience the highways running behind you. It is not there. You experience the water in the mirage. It is not there. So don't argue that, it is, I experience it. We may experience a lot of things. So we simply accept unconsciously, habitually, instinctively that I have an anxiety, I have a reaction, I have fear. So when you accept wrong things in your life and then you get worried, why don't you accept that you are the real self? So that is the letter A. So that very acceptance means that I listen and learn from the teacher that we are of the nature of real self. And the real self is of the nature of permanent happiness, love, truth, and wisdom. So that acceptance, that acceptance is the letter A. So in a traditional manner, for a silent generation, those who are old, they'll always love something authentic and traditional. Or can you invite shaman who will remove the bad spirit from the house? That mindset belongs to the old generation, our dad and moms. Don't argue with them. Oh, I will invite them. At least they will be happy. Let them make us the happy. So the first is the aware, the word A. Aware model A, acceptance. I have to accept it. So the very acceptance, oh, there is a real self, then you will have a doubt about the stress and the suffering that you experience. You don't have anything in your mind except the fear, anxiety, reaction, and death. So that is why a regular listening and learning and contemplation and reflection put the seed of the Eastern wisdom. It puts the seed of the self-discovery. And when it puts the seed of the self-discovery, the W starts, the letter W, withdraw. So your mind begins withdrawing from inside. Oh, if I don't think about the anxiety, as such, there is no anxiety. If I don't think about the fear, there is no fear. But I'm attached to those things. So withdraw. So how you withdraw? With a solid foundation. What is that solid foundation? I am of the nature of peace and happiness. That is the real self. That is the pure consciousness. The consciousness cannot be changed. I was yesterday, I think, yes, yesterday I was giving an example that a guy was standing on the second floor and his friend on the ground floor. Friend on the ground floor was a non-seeker. And on the second floor, he was a great seeker. He was constantly contemplating and reflecting. It was not only the intellectual listening to the teacher. He was assimilating that knowledge. So the guy at the second floor spoke, I am the real self of the nature of peace and happiness beyond death and the birth. And his friend at the ground floor heard. He said, very good. I can believe you because he is a non-seeker. So, okay, if you are not the body, then jump from the second floor. When you reach to that state, we face these crazy questions, but we have a befitting answer to them.
What is it?
What is the answer? So one thing is clear. If I have a big ego of this knowledge, my ego is not removed. I'm still suffering in ignorance. And because I'm suffering in ignorance, even though I have an intellectual conviction, I will jump and hurt myself. I may die. So I'm just equivalent to a non-seeker on the ground floor. There is not a big difference. One has become a parrot, repeating the same principle but not digesting and assimilating it, who is at the second floor. And the other guy, at least he is a little bit more authentic. He said, I don't believe it. He's a theist or whatever you say. So at least the person at the ground floor is more authentic. What he believes, he keeps his promises. But the guy at the second floor was awakened. He smiled. Can you think? You're scratching your head. Oh, what answer he will give? I will remember that. I will also use it. It will not work unless you realize it. So he said, my friend, did you hear I say that I'm the real self? Yes, I hear, my friend. Do you know that did you hear that real self is pure consciousness? Yes. Do you know that consciousness is everywhere, all pervading? Yes. Why should I jump? I'm not the body, I'm consciousness. So there is no place for me to jump. There is no place for me to jump. So you are in ignorance, you are looking me as if I am the body, and I have already told you that I am the real self. So I am present everywhere on the second floor and also with you at the ground floor, because I'm all pervading consciousness. So the question of jumping doesn't arise at all. That is realization.
Yeah. I like that.
You like that? So translate that in your life from this week. Whenever there is anxiety, it means somebody is saying you to jump. Remember, you are in fear of the death. Remember, it is the same jumping. And if your mind is able to say, question of anxiety, question of death, question of fear, it cannot be present in the consciousness. And that real self is of the nature of the consciousness. So where is the fear? So that aware model, A means acceptance. When I accept that since birth I have accepted I am the body, did any scientist tell you that you are the body? Take it for granted? No. I have owned my acceptance, and that acceptance came from the ignorance. So now you are listening and learning the Eastern wisdom, so accept that you are also the real self. Let us see which one is true. I'm not saying just believe it. I'm not saying that have a blind belief. In geometry, I did it. I was also studying geometry. So in geometry, when they give a problem, they also give an answer. So you have to prove it by a process. The Eastern wisdom is like that. What the Eastern wisdom says, you are real self. You don't recognize at present that you are not the real self. Prove it that you are not the real self. Accordingly, there is a geometrical theorem. The three angles of a triangle is 180 degree. You know it. Everyone knows it. So when you get 10 out of 10 marks, so master says, prove it that the three angles of a triangle is 180 degree. I already know the answer. Why should I prove it? If you don't prove it, then you cannot realize it. So that is what is the contemplation and reflection is. First I accepted I am the real self. I have to prove it. Belief pending inquiry is the journey of the Eastern wisdom. Blind belief is not the journey of Eastern wisdom. So when you start with it and then withdraw, your mind begins withdrawing from that attachment. Now let us see what is this attachment business in our mind. I like pasta and I eat pasta. It's a balanced diet. I eat moderately and I'm happy. I return. It's okay. It is not attachment. So we use the word liking for many things we should continue to use, provided this liking does not become an obsession that I cannot do without it. That is attachment. I cannot do without it. I cannot wake up without anxiety. Then you are the craziest person. I cannot wait. Let me wake up. Oh, I'm the real self. Let me do the practice. Let me contemplate and reflect. I have no time. I have more time for my anxiety. I have more time for my fear. I have more time for my dog to take him to the walk. Throw not God, but throw the dog away from your sight, mental sight. First, I will do the practice. So that very acceptance, sticking to it, loosens the hold of your obsession and your impulsivity in the mind. And that is what the withdrawal is. W-A-W. So now still the impression of that attachment will continue your mind. For that, we have this third letter, A, abolish. Abolish that impression. When you say no, it will go away. It means you have fully succeeded in W, and the moment that attachment comes, you say A, abolish, go, and it is gone. It goes away to the higher seeker. You have to check. You have to check. There is always a self-check, whether you are a seeker or a higher seeker or a higher seeker. Teacher is not going to say anything. AWA. So now the magic happens. Many people have started translating that magic as so mystical experience. There is nothing mystical and there is nothing occult. So what happens? Sunlight is there on the window, but I have a blackout curtain, so I don't see the sunlight. Now I followed A letter, W withdraw, third letter abolish. So these are the curtain. I removed the curtain. The sunlight is already there. It passes through the windows and I see it. That is the letter R. You find that relax, resilience, calmness. Why? You have dropped the attachment, you have dropped the delusion, and once, whenever, wherever, in whatever condition, in whatever situation, in whatever relations, you drop the attachment and the delusion, you'll start flying in the air. You'll find the relaxation and the calmness. Calmness is already there. So why people they say that it is a mystical experience? Because that relaxation, that calmness, that joy is independent of anything outside. The mind has known happiness in the form of a pleasure from an event, from a person, from a thing, from an achievement, from an accomplishment. But now I experience, it's everywhere, it's a calmness. Even the person I hate who is standing in front of me, but I experience the state of the calmness. That is what the word R represents in this aware. So what should I do? I have to repeat it again and again. I have to drop my mind to that state of R. So the more and more I drop, I prove it, I embody real self. I have recognized. I am awakened. Such a simple way to, aware. But it will not happen just by studying once, not assimilating and digesting the knowledge. Remember, the guy on the second floor and the ground floor. who claims I know will definitely jump, and who knows there is nothing to claim. Prove it that I am a man. Come on, you have beard, I don't want to prove it. I know it. You have that awareness. So in awareness, the higher intelligence that is present in the real self deals with the outer situation. That higher intelligence answers the crazy questions. Intellect is made up of this ego. That if that answers, you always suffer because it is full of the past impression of delusion and anxiety. Oh, you are challenging me, let me jump. And then I land up in hospital realizing the real self. So the story is about to contemplate and reflect. Do I live into that state? Do I dare to say? Do I dare to experience? So you are proving. We are not saying that, accept blindly and go home that you are the real self. We say prove it. So that very proving is contemplation and reflection in that contemplation and reflection in the beginning, we have to be devoted and committed to the practice daily. The last one that I gave you, or the other one that I told you, use the mantra regularly. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You are doing it for days, weeks, few weeks, months, and one day your mind reveals it. I got it. Until then, we have to continue the practice. And after that, we have to listen to the higher principles of Eastern wisdom to reach to the highest state. Just in other way. Other way, the master says, understand, you have to practice non-attachment. It is the same W word. So first, because you want to recognize the real self, yes. The moment we say you have to practice non-attachment. What exactly is the non-attachment? Give me 5 statements which gives you the anxiety, fear, duality, and a conflict. So you have given me the 5 statements explaining the 5 events, or you have an attachment in all those 5 events. Drop it. How can you say? This wall is crazy, it is making me crazy. Really? Or I am influenced, I am dictating my mind by looking at the wall. The wall has nothing to do with me. So when I am influenced and dictated by anything which causes me the anxiety, delusion, duality, fear, you told me that, I feel anxious when I wake up in the morning and you feel anxious. You're a great guy. After sleeping for 10 hours or 8 hours, you are feeling anxious. You have a reaction in your mind. You are feeling tired. Why the hell you slept for 8 hours then? As if you were sleeping outside your home, in woods, in Kokoniko forest. Then I can think that you have some problem. So I have to think of it. That is one aspect, and I have to practice there and then. Oh, mind, in the morning you are crazy, let me do the practice, let me get out of it. So that is what the master is saying, I have to practice non-attachment. Another way to understand the same thing. So that your mind should not find any other excuse and you are fully, your mind is fully saturated. Now I have no other option but to practice. When your mind says, I have no other option but to do the practice regularly, you have started changing. But if the mind finds lot of excuses, no. It is simple. At the same time, it is very, very easy. So what is going to happen? You are practicing. You minimize your stress, you reduce your anxiety and duality and a conflict and those negative reactive thoughts. You do it one day, you are doing it for a couple of weeks. Now the mind has acquired the habit to be in peace by the practice. After that, now the time has come to either do a longer practice to remove all the past impression or do the self-inquiry that we are doing it to get rid of it. But there is a catch. What is the catch? You practice non-attachment like the guy who jumped from the second floor and hurt himself and land up in the hospital. That is one approach. Second approach, when you are practicing non-attachment, the end result is happiness. If the end result is not happiness, it means you are doing it forcibly, you did the practice impulsively. I have to repeat the practice again. Tell the mind I have to do the practice again to reach to that state of calmness and happiness. Now it is only 50%. Let me do the third repetition. Now I am happy. Yes, now I have done the practice correctly. I will understand the mechanism later based on the symptoms and the experiences I have made out. If the math teacher gives you the problem, prove. Sum of three angles of a triangle is 180 degree and you reach to 190 degree. Not accepted. The teacher says, go back. You do it again. That we should do to ourselves. The person who takes over his entire body, mind, attitude, and the life, he has the ability to become a seeker. If not, then think of it. So what happens then? You practice non-attachment. Because of that non-attachment, you start experiencing the calmness and the joy inside. Now you found the formula. You found the formula, the practical formula. I have to do it. Why? Because I'm desiring happiness. By this practice, in this way, consciously doing, I can reach to the state of the happiness. Very good. So I will continue this practice until I reach to a state without practice, I'm still in the state of the peace and happiness. So understand this craziness of practice and the non-practice. Ultimately, the journey of meditation or Eastern wisdom at the highest level, it is basically a non-practice. But if I think that I can switch on to the state of the non-practice in the very beginning, not possible. Dad, get ready. I will drop you at your shop. The dad got ready. The son opened the door and he said, so I will now drop you at your shop. Dad said, I'm not sitting in your car. But why, Dad? Because you are going to drop me at the shop. Then why you are asking me to sit down? But without sitting in my car, how can I take you to the shop? But at the shop you will drop me. So better not to ride, not to take your ride. That is what we think. Without practice, I can reach there. No, I have to sit down. I'm explaining practice and non-practice. I have to sit down. I have to take a ride of the practice. I have to leave that ride when I have reached a particular state. No, Buddha says that you don't need to do the practice. It is only the path of self-analysis. Are you Buddha? No, I'm not Buddha. So if you are not the Buddha, don't bring in Buddha here. Ask yourself where you stand. We don't want to understand. We give crazy references. Jesus says, love is God. I love everyone. Do you love yourself? No, I have a lot of anxiety. I'm trying to love every soul. So don't talk about Jesus. Don't talk about it. Unnecessarily, you are bringing those great people in your own journey. You have to start the journey where you stand. How do you know that where I stand? Ask yourself. How many times? That is why I'm asking you every week. How many times you were anxious, you reacted, you were angry, you were upset in the last week? After all, it took Buddha 6 years to reach to that state. But how? By recognizing it and then doing the practice. Jesus did not say in the very beginning they don't know what they are doing when he was crucified. He said in the end, he has reached to the highest state. So he was saying that they don't know that I'm not the body. What they are doing, they don't know. He was simply making the absolute statement. They don't know what they are doing. Means whatever they are doing will not kill me. Right, all pervading consciousness. Understand the soul, the secret of this journey. If you don't, you have to pick up, you have to see. First example, second floor jumping or realizing. Setting a second example, not interested in the practice. Dad has to recognize, I have to sit down, continue the practice. I continue the practice means I'm not driving, but I continue the practice. Then I reach to the shop and I drop it. I reach to the calmness and relaxation. In the beginning, it will not happen. Maybe it may not happen for a week or a month, but I still continue. That is what happens even in the business. Oh, the first year I failed completely, but I continued, I persisted, and now I succeed. And we get upset. I did the practice, nothing happened. Really? Really? Think. So the daily practice is important to break free from the cycles of anxiety, fear, and the frustration. My master used to wake up at around 2, and 2 to 4:30 he used to do the practice. I said, you don't need any practice. He said, yes, I don't need any practice. Then you do it. I said, what should I do? I was very young, hardly 25. So he said, your mind has all the crazy thoughts, but I have nothing to do. First reason. Second reason, he said, do you think that the awakened and the realized person will stop eating? No. Will stop sleeping? No. Will stop going to the restroom? No. Why should I stop doing the practice? So those who are non-seekers, crazy people, oh, you are still doing the practice. Oh, as if you have already realized. You know all the secrets. You are raising a question. So your question doesn't stand anywhere. It doesn't stand anywhere. You know,
is there always learning? Like, as long as the body is alive, are you always learning, or like, do you just say, well, I'm done?
You reach to a state where the self-learning begins. Until the self-learning begins, you need an outer agent or some crazy teacher to constantly push your mind. When you are able to push your mind by your own, you have more revelations by your own every day. So answer is yes, the life is just a lifelong learning. Because every day you evolve. Why you evolve every day? Did I not reach to the summit of evolution? No, that real self is infinite. Today you have a different shade of expression of that real self. Tomorrow is different. Yesterday was different. Why? Because it is infinite. The mind cannot catch the infinite. Mind is very limited. So it picks up something for expression today, it will pick up something else for tomorrow. So that is why we say that it is a lifelong learning. So the simple answer, once the self-learning starts, what is that meaning of the self-learning? You pick up any Upanishad, you read the statement, you are absorbed into it, you contemplate it, you are already absorbed into meditation. And then from there the revelation comes, you have a different meaning. Now it is a self-learning. Even for such a small and a futile act of going to the restroom, we don't learn from anyone. It's a self-learning. So that is why it is very important to do the daily practice, not only to break free from the cycle of anxiety, fear, frustration, reaction. I have to commit to the practice daily without fail. I have to become like a dad. Okay, now I understood, I will sit, and you drop me there. So the same thing you are telling your mind, without fail I am doing the practice, come what may. Whether I get any result or not, I will commit to the practice. and the next day you will start getting the result of the calmness, resilience, and the relaxation. That is good in the beginning. We have to carry forward that relaxation. My master used to say that when you continue, when you commit, when you are sincere. I'm using all the words. When there is a sincerity, there is a commitment, and you have an intense desire to undergo a transformation. Now, it may depend on few weeks or a month. You have a profound relaxation. You have a profound calmness. You have a profound joy. You experience that joy is permeated throughout the day. In the beginning, that demands a practice, practice and practice.
Yeah.
What to practice? Aware, model. Check, my mind says I'm the real self. Check, I withdraw. I withdraw from the reactive pattern through the reflection. No, I'm not able to withdraw myself. Then do the practice. Abolish delusion. No, I'm totally absorbed in this practice. Now I can feel that the delusion has gone. Same. And then I could find out that sense of relaxation and the calmness. Use the aware model. That does not mean that it is only a talk. I have already given you the practice. So what exactly is happening? That by the aware model, your mind is becoming mature. There is a mental maturity. When there is a mental maturity, it is dropping the impulsive, habitual, and the reactive nature of your mind. It will drop by itself, and you will see the guy with whom you have reacted. You used to be angry, but now your mind is calm. The first time you recognize it is possible. I have to make it possible by experience, not only by listening. And that experience will come by the practice. That has to start and drop. Second example, two metaphors. But if you think what will happen, then nothing will happen. The old mind, the impulsive mind has taken over you. It is opposing the entire journey of the Eastern wisdom. Nothing is going to happen there.
What would you say, because we talk a lot about Buddha, what would you say the main difference between like Eastern wisdom and Buddhism is?
Buddhism came from the Eastern wisdom.
That's right. So Buddhism came from the Eastern wisdom. So Buddhism is a religion, and
one Eastern wisdom says there is an absolute reality. What is that? It is pure consciousness. What is that? It is absolute existence, consciousness, bliss. It is nameless and formless. So I don't understand it. Do you understand the absence of everything in your mind? Oh, that I understand it. Did you understand intellectually? Yes. Do you experience it? No. So practice mindfulness or meditation from Buddhism. Enter into the state of emptiness and nothingness. So it is play of the world. I experience nothingness. What is this nothingness? Don't see it intellectually. What is this nothingness? There is nothing in the space, but the space is there. So nothingness or the real and the real self are the two sides of the same coin. My expression is different. That very emptiness is the fullness. It is not half empty and half full. Half full means that there is something there, it is not empty. And half empty means it is not absolute existence, consciousness, and bliss. But that is only the two ways of explaining. In Tantra, we have 64 different ways of explaining the same thing. I'm not raising a doubt at present in this session. We have 64 different ways. No, but you are making me crazy. It is absolute consciousness, bliss. It is nameless and formless. The master says it is with the name and the form. What is the name and the form? It is Shiva. Chant the mantra Om Namah Shivaya. So some people can approach the same real self by Om Namah Shivaya. Other people can reach by contemplating and meditating on the Jesus. The third can reach by the Buddha said, please don't make any statue of mine. Don't make any temple. He pleaded. He told all of his disciples. We have the largest number of Buddha statues in the world now. He says, when everything is, I'm teaching you nothingness, and you are creating something. You are putting something into the temple. You go to any studio. So it takes time to understand these stuff. That is all for today.